Hi, I'm Suzy Fleming Leonard. Welcome to Today in Brevard Entertainment. It's time to start planning your weekend, and whether you want to see local theater, go to a graffiti party, or hang out with Brevard County's own roller derby team, there's plenty of stuff going on. Joining me in the studio today is Jennifer Sangalang, editor of our Metromix Entertainment website. Jennifer, what are some of the Metromix best bets for the weekend?
Well, let's start with a freebie. If you live at the south end of the county, or you don't mind a bit of a drive, Sebastian River Area Chamber of Commerce will host a free concert from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Friday at Riverview Park. And they recommend you bring your lawn chair or a blanket.
That sounds like a great way to spend the evening before summer gets, any more blazing hot than it already is. What else do you have?
Here's an interesting one. How long have you been here?
I guess about 10 years.
Well, that's not quite long enough, but for anyone who grew up here, this is a huge deal. Brassie's is having a reunion party.
Oh, Brassie's, I've heard a lot of people talking about this. That's that Cocoa Beach nightclub that was open in the 80s.
Yes, it was open from 1979 to 1987. Check out these old pictures. The owners of Brassie's have decided to have a reunion from 2 to midnight Saturday at the Hilton in Cocoa Beach. Light Rock 99.3's Michael W. Lowe and former Rock 100 WDIZ radio host Mick Dolan will be the MCs. Admission is $10 with proceeds going to the Multiple Sclerosis Centers of Florida Foundation.
Okay, those pictures are a little scary, and what's even scarier is I remember those days. You probably don't.
Not much, but some.
Okay, now you've got to tell me about the Molly Roger Roller Derby girls. I know they've got a match scheduled for later this month, but what have they got going on this weekend?
Well, this weekend they're going to have a carnival fundraiser at 8 p.m. Saturday at Filthy McNasty's in Vero Beach.
That sounds like it could be a wild party. And I know this team is only a few years old, but it's been growing, including a member of our own newsroom, Samantha, who made the team last weekend.
Cool. Well, they had tryouts last week, and Metromix's Shauna Maggard and Caroline Perez went to watch the action. Do you want to see what happened?
I can hardly wait.
All right.
I'm Shauna Maggard with Metromix Brevard, and we are here at Galaxy Skateway in Melbourne, where the Molly Roger Roller Girls will be training some new skaters for their roller derby team. Any girl over the age of 18 can come and try out, so I'm going to lace up and see what it takes to be a roller derby girl.
Thanks everybody for coming out. What we normally do is hopefully warm up for about 15 minutes after getting your skates on. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
What is roller derby?
Roller derby is a full contact all women's sport. We also have a men's league as well. There's one up in New York and there's more forming around the world.
To me, it's a way to express myself and have like this alter ego. I go to work every day and I have to be very prim and proper, and then I get to come here and just let it all out.
You get a rush, you get anxiety when you first get out there, but then that all kind of goes away and you just go out and do what you have to do to help your team.
What's the nastiest, most painful roller derby injury you've had?
I just cracked my collarbone. I've come home from my shoulder to my elbow with no skin on my arm. Broke my tailbone, couple fingers, toes, punched in the face.
And are you more comfortable in skates or in shoes?
Definitely on skates. I could be on skates for hours and love it and totally be good with it.
Why are you trying out for the Molly Rogers?
Because it'll be fun.
And why are you trying out for the Molly Rogers?
They're an interesting group, and they look like a lot of fun. Great group of girls, and I read about them in the paper, and I can't wait to try out.
And how long have you been roller derbying?
2.5 years.
Okay. And what's your favorite thing about it? What do you like it so much?
The girls, sisterhood. It's such a great sisterhood.
Well, I think I'm going to leave the skating to the pros. I'm going to go home, take off this gear, shower. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
am so glad she made it out of that unharmed. Seriously though, it looks like a lot of fun. And speaking of a lot of fun, what's going on Saturday at the Brevard Art Museum?
Well, for starters, the museum is opening its From Gutter to Gallery Graffiti Gets In exhibition on Saturday. The real fun is Saturday night. First, there's the Under Pressure Brevard Underground Party that runs from 7 to 10 p.m., which includes food and drinks, music, and fun with the graffiti artists who will have work featured in the show. Don't be freaked out by the $100 price tag. 2 words, open bar. Remember, this is a fundraiser for the museum.
But what about later that night? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Me too. That's the 10 at 10 after party. For $10, you can enjoy music, breakfast foods, and you'll get a chance to hang out with some of the artists, like Cynic, Slow, This.
I think we need to come up with graffiti names. Maybe I'll change my name to that.
That would be awesome. I mean, that sounds cool. That would
Or maybe
that.
I'll just stick with Suzy.
Anyway, Metromix and the Zap Squad will be there hanging out and having fun. I got to meet Cynic, and he showed me some of his skills.
Well, let's check out that video, and when we get back, Stephen McClansky, the museum's new president, and arts writer Pam Harbaugh will be here to talk about the exhibit, the party, and Stephen's vision for the museum.
I'm Jennifer Sangalang with Metromix Brevard, and I'm here to talk to you about Under Pressure. It's not what you think. It's actually a graffiti art event hosted by the Brevard Art Museum and sponsored by Metromix. Today we're going to talk to Cynic, a local artist who's going to show us his spray painting abilities. You're going to be at the Under Pressure event on May 16th. Can you tell me a little about that?
Okay, May 16th at Under Pressure. I'm going to be there along with 4 other of my crew members, and it's a fundraiser event for the museum, and we're going to be painting there live with museum members. The 10 at 10, that's going to be in the Renee Fusner wing of the museum. It's across the street. It was the old Science Center. That'll have food, music, I'm sure more action going on. I think we're going to have break dancers. I've been doing art all my life, but graffiti art I picked up probably about 5 years ago. It was just something different to this area, I hadn't really ever seen it around here that much. A lot of people with this show coming up, they've been asking me about it and talking about it like it's some new art form, when really it's one of the oldest art forms. It parallels calligraphy, if you would. And the term is actually graffiti is derived from the term sgraffito, which is a Latin term used to describe the cave paintings. So, I mean, if you can really lump it together with that, it predates, tons of other art forms, almost everything else out there, so.
Well, I just asked Cynic on the fly if he could do a Metromix logo for us, and he's going to do one. Well, Cynic, thanks for hanging out and doing your thing. We'll see you May 16th at the Under Pressure event at the Brevard Art Museum.
I can't wait for Saturday. That looks like it's going to be so much fun. Stephen, Pam, thanks for being here. And Stephen, welcome to Brevard County.
Thank you.
This is just the start of some of the great things you're going to be doing at our Brevard Art Museum. Tell us a little bit about the exhibit and about this event that's going to be starting it all out.
Well, the exhibition is called From Gutter to Gallery, Graffiti Gets In, and it features the work of 9 graffiti artists and photographers who are mostly based in Florida, do their work in Florida, and it really showcases the work of these artists as people who are very committed to their craft. They're more interested in calligraphy than they are in street vandalism, so it's a very different take on what you might expect graffiti art to look like. And to celebrate this exhibition, we have a major fundraiser that we're putting on, and it's called Under Pressure, Brevard Underground. And it's 2 parties in one. As you've described, from 7 to 10, there's a museum fundraiser with great food and open bar. And then from 10 o'clock till 1, we have that 10 at 10 party. And that's really going to rock the house a little bit. That's going to be over in our Museum Education Center. And we have 3 different bands. We have L.B. Trev and Ricky Diamond, along with Quiet Science, and also Less Than a Second. The exhibition will be open as well, so you'll be able to come, enjoy the music. There'll be some free food there too, so it's just a great celebration.
It's going to be a great weekend. And Pam and I have been talking about this. I know some of the museum, the people on the museum board who you don't necessarily think of. I mean, they're fun, but those pictures that we took, they're really out of their element, but they really looked like they were enjoying themselves.
They were having so much fun, I was ready to send them to their rooms. The thing that I'm interested in, you're new to the area.
Correct.
And now we're having Under Pressure, Brevard Underground. Is there really an underground in Brevard?
Well, I'd like to think so. You know, it reminds me of a lot of the art that I see in Brevard, and I think there's sort of a Brevard regionalism, or in my 9 weeks here, I've seen a lot of paintings and photographs that deal with the spectacular natural landscape that we have here. But the museum has an educational role, and the museum in this case is showcasing different kinds of artwork. So Brevard Underground, in this case, refers to an underground artist community who are producing different kinds of artwork, but artwork that we really think deserves wider community attention.
You know, there's a lot of people who will be watching this who are going to say, but this is vandalism. Graffiti is vandalism. What do you say about that?
Well, get me started. If we had a longer segment, I could speak for an hour or two, tying this all the way back to the history of artists signing their paintings and taking artistic credit for what they do, the notion of artistic authorship. So these artists, a lot of what they're doing is they're reinventing their signature over and over again, and just instead of using paintbrushes, they're using aerosol cans.
And the artwork is just, it's beautiful, it's stunning. I can't believe they did it with paint cans.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about some of the other things that you have planned for the museum. You know, what are you thinking as you look to the future of the Brevard Art Museum?
Well, we of course have lots of things in the hopper already. We have some interesting exhibitions that are already planned. This November we have an exhibition from the Hechinger Tool collection of art. This is a collector who keeps selecting works of art that feature different tools in them. So it's a curious exhibition. Later, in the beginning of 2010, I can't believe it's 2010, we have a great exhibition from a Florida artist, famous photographer named Jerry Uelsman, who is well known for his surreal photographs. And so besides the exhibitions, though, that we're working on, we're looking at a major change for the museum, a big initiative that I think will really put the museum on the map and will reinforce the notion that the museum is indeed a significant, important cultural leader here in Brevard. And if we can pull this off, I think it'll be great for not just the museum, but for the entire community. And I wish I could tell you a little bit more about it, but we're getting our plans all lined up, and maybe you'll invite me back here to tell you about it.
Definitely, and I know if you're planning an exhibit about tools, that might entice my husband to go to the museum. You're getting and attracting different audiences with some of these exhibits.
Well, you know, you mentioned Jerry Uelsman and photography. Now, your background is photography.
That's right.
And one thing I wanted to be sure to point out to the audience here, our viewers, is that you curated a very meaningful and critically acclaimed exhibition when you were in New Orleans, and you have a catalog of that.
Well, and I don't think we've said that you came to us from New Orleans after spending 20 years there, so you were there through Katrina.
I was there in New Orleans. People say, how do you do during Katrina? And I just go like this. And they understand that that's the level of water in my house. Although my house was elevated, the actual level of water in my street was just about at eye level.
I love the one that has the sherry set where you can see where the water rose and then came down, and it looks like like it's set for a party, and the sherry has already been poured.
Yes, you know, these are some of my private photographs, and I think a lot of people in New Orleans took pictures like this. They might have been thinking more about their insurance brokers than posterity. Or I bet no one really thought that these pictures would be appearing 3 or 4 years later on a news program in Florida.
And then you have the picture with the X mark that
oh yeah,
that designated
yeah,
whether
on the bottom of that, the number you're looking at, 0 underneath the X, that means that there were no dead bodies found in my house. But back to that picture real quick of the little sherry glasses. The water in my house rose very slowly. It came from a break in a drainage canal miles and miles away. So the water sort of just came up slowly and fills these petite, dainty little sherry glasses, and then it receded. So those glasses were filled with Katrina water. We did not decide to drink that.
I don't blame you, but from something that was so horrible, hold this up again.
Yes,
it came this beautiful and just really poignant exhibit.
This is, I'm glad we brought this up because it's not just about the exhibition. It also, I guess, reveals my approach to the museum in general, and that the museum needs to be a significant community platform. So the exhibition was called Katrina Exposed, a Community of Photographs, and we invited the entire community to come share their pictures. And it didn't matter if you were a professional or just an amateur. It was very important to give the community the opportunity to testify to their experience, to put their pictures up on the museum's wall.
Well, and I know that we will all look forward to seeing more of you, and I'm sure we will be inviting you back as we have more exciting things happening at the museum. You can find out more about the things we've talked about and lots of other fun events happening this weekend by visiting brevard.metromix.com, floridatoday.com, or by picking up a copy of this week's TGIF section in Florida Today. From all of us at Florida Today and Today in Brevard, have a great weekend.